Hey everyone, Tony Walsh here. Welcome back to the channel. No, it's not springtime, it's the fall, but it's still time to get some crops in the raised beds. Let me turn around and show you what we've been doing to prep our fall garden. Like many of you, it is just a struggle planting in real dirt, gardening wise. So you saw this garden spot last year. It had a bunch of tubs in it, and we're still going to use tubs, but I happened to find a deal on some used metal garden beds. So you can see we've got some installed here. So the red one was used, that gray one in the corner, it's brand new. It's a cheap brand, wasn't given to me to try out. I just bought a cheap one, and then I bought these 5 right here used. So again, no sponsorship, no gimmies on any of these. Obviously one of them has a sticker on it to who it's made by. The rest of them will just remain unnamed, and yes, they're different colors because they're all used except for the one. So looking on YouTube University, as we'll call it, everybody and their brother and their sister has a way of making their own garden soil. And in the past, I have used just straight up Black Cow, many other brands, and I've always had trouble with soil compaction and drainage. So I've done some research, and you can see in these the white specks, that is perlite, and I'm sort of mixing my own concoction or my own recipe, just trying to feel it out, mostly by looks. So I've used this is recycled dirt from our tubs that were here, and I'll show you that in just a moment how I do that. So it's recycled dirt, perlite, and vermiculite. You might can see the vermiculite better in this one over here because I'm still playing the recipe. You know, the perlite is white, the vermiculite is brown, so it's harder to see. Because one helps with drainage, the other one helps with compaction. And so hopefully, you know, because we do live where it's wet, we do live where it all of a sudden it turns dry. So both of those are concerns of ours. And so I just went with a lot of perlite and vermiculite, trying to help those two causes. Now, I did not add any fertilizer, bone meal, lime, any of that, because my goal is once I get done with these 2 beds here, I am going to pull a soil sample from all these to see how I need to lime or fertilize. Now I'm probably just gonna pull 1 or 2 samples. I'm not going to pull a sample. I'll pull a sample from each one, but I'm not going to send a sample. So I'll pull the samples and mix them, because that'll give me an overall idea of what I need. So our goal here is we are fixing to plant carrots, beets, onion starts, and some strawberries. Now, what is going where? Jackie hasn't told me that yet. We still got our bucket containers there, but I don't think any of this is going in buckets. Unless I put beets in buckets. That I'm not sure of. But I'm going to show you how I mix my soil. And I want you to tell me in the comments below how you mix your soil. So, how do I mix mine? Let's go look. Yeah, I mentioned all those tubs a moment ago, and you see them stacked there to the right. Still got some green stalks there that we've got to put up. So what I done was brought all those tubs from the garden spot, brought them up here, and I dumped every bit of that soil out into this container here. And one of my reasons for doing that is I'm just an old school farmer, to where we took a bottom plow every couple of years and we turned the dirt upside down. Just to rejuvenate it. So I figured if I emptied those tubs into this bin here, I could mix this dirt back up. So if I had some what I'm gonna call dead dirt, I could mix it with some live dirt, meaning dirt with no nutrients to dirt with nutrients. And again, this is a combination of Black Cow, several different brand names of bagged garden soil, compost, you name it, it's in there. So I take it out of there and I use 4 5-gallon buckets. See 2 stacks there, but there's two buckets, one inside the other. So I load them up in my Gorilla cart, or in one of the Gorilla carts, because we have 2. And if you need a good garden cart, again, no sponsorship, but Gorilla carts have worked great for us. So I bring those 4 buckets of dirt around here. You'll just bear with me as we walk. I have a used cement mixer, and I pour 2 5-gallon buckets full into the cement mixer, and it's electric, very easy to manipulate. You can find these things all over Facebook Marketplace. But I'll put 2 5-gallon buckets in there. Then I will, you see I have my wagon over here. The brown bag is vermiculite, the white bag is perlite. And let me find my, then with those 2 5-gallon buckets, I'll use this, I don't know if that's a gallon container or not, but I'll put a full one of those and a full one of the vermiculite, and start mixing it with these 2 5-gallon buckets of soil. I'll get all that mixed up, then I'll pour in a 3rd 5-gallon bucket and probably a half of a container of vermiculite and a half a container of perlite. Get all that mixed up, put half of it in the Gorilla cart. You can see 2 of them, both of them right over there. Pour half of that in the wagon, and then pour in the 4th 5-gallon bucket and put in another half of vermiculite and half of perlite. And that's my soil recipe for this year. So let me show you how I do it. Okay, I have everything set up here. As I said, I got 4 5-gallon buckets here in the Gorilla cart. Got my cement mixer ready, and then got my wagon full of perlite and vermiculite right here. So as I said, I'm gonna put 2 5-gallon buckets in here first. Then I'm gonna put in, I had a different container and I found me a used coffee can. So I'm gonna switch from the plastic 1-gallon nursery container pot to this 1-gallon coffee can. So it's gonna be 1 gallon of perlite and 1 gallon of vermiculite. And yes, some of you may say that this is way too much overkill on the vermiculite and perlite, and I can understand that to some extent, but I don't have time to make good compost mixed soil, you know, using mulch and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I have to use a lot of store-bought stuff. And I think I said in one of the earlier clips, everybody and their brother has an opinion on how their soil should be made. So my advice is just watch them all, listen to them all, make your judgment of what works for you. There's people that still plant in the dirt. Rowdy from, gosh, My Appalachia something. I'll try to put a link in there. He still plants in the dirt. Several people still plant in the dirt, and that's fine if you got the time to weed. I don't. So that's why we're switching to a lot of raised beds this year. Again, 2 5-gallon buckets, gallon of perlite, gallon of vermiculite. Let's get to mixing. I'm gonna bring you over here a little bit closer to where you can see. Mixing up in there, and there's nothing in here going to hurt you just by sticking your hand in the middle. So I just do some help mixing up. But I say that there is holes right here, so you have to be careful getting your hands around here. So I just stay right in the middle, because if you don't, you can see back here, it doesn't mix as good back in the back. So I have to stop it a couple of times to get it to do that. I almost wish this thing had brackets over here and brackets over here to make it mix. So it's fine with cement because you're just mixing cement, water, sand, or whatever. But here where I'm trying to make sure all the ingredients get mixed up well, because what you don't want to end up is something so heavy in the perlite and vermiculite. You want to make sure it gets evenly distributed. You saw me lower the handle there, and that actually what it does, it makes the mixing more aggressive, so it does a better job of mixing the lower you can get. But you can see I lowered it down to the 3rd notch, and I already have dirt right here, so I have to be careful to not be spilling the dirt out on the ground. But see, you can see here I still got a line of perlite and vermiculite that is not mixing yet. So I just reach back in here and grab me another handful from the back. Now this dirt has been rained on a few times. And one other thing about mixing this, see the pine cone here? That's where a pine cone fell in one of those raised beds. And I actually got a tub down here. So this allows me the chance to get that stuff out of the way. Because if you leave that pine cone in there and the seed hits it, then the roots can't go through that pine cone and it can mess things up. So it allows me the chance to get any trash out of there. And as I said, because of this dirt, it's been rained on, it's got a little clumps in it, and the clumps will all fall down here for some reason, so it's really easy just to break the clumps up. But you see all that vermiculite, so I still got some mixing to do. Got a piece of bark right here. So you can still, I don't know if you can tell or not, but here it's still pretty black right here. So still got to do some getting that from the back to the front. They got another stick right here. I don't have enough room to tip this up because I can't get the cart out from under it, so you got to shovel the last little bit out of there. And this is not a clean job by no means, so make sure you wear gloves and old clothes, because you can see I'm already dirty. Of course, we should know gardening is not a clean job. Okay, so you can see this cart's 3/4 full with them 4 buckets, and yeah, I could probably do a 5th bucket, but I went ahead and set me a pattern, and I didn't want to change from that pattern because I want to document how well this recipe worked. So I don't want to throw any variables that these over here have 4 or 5 gallon buckets, these over here have 5 gallon buckets. You know, my mind doesn't wrap around that, so I'm just staying this recipe for this fall. So, and I take my buckets with me because when I get done at the beds, I need to go back and get some more dirt, and this just take everything with me and make one trip. So let's go to the raised beds. All right, we're back at the raised beds. So let me get my shovel and finish filling this bed up. There's another stick, so you always got to be careful for those. Okay, this one is full. I got one more to do. So I'm not going to videotape that. You just saw how I mixed it. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll bring us back for a closing. So just hang tight. And we are done. All 7 beds are filled with my recipe of recycled black cow, multiple different brands of pot and soil, pot and mix, whatever you want to call it, along with vermiculite and perlite. So it'll be time for us to plant within the next couple of days. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you'll come back and let's just see how this stuff grows. So until then, y'all take care and God bless.